Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden and today we are going to be doing another good, bad, and ugly, but today on the MazdaSpeed 6. I'm pretty sure we've done it on the MazdaSpeed 3 already, so now we're doing it on the MazdaSpeed 6. Brian keeps asking me, in the comments every day, I see your comment, man, I see your comment. MazdaSpeed 6, MazdaSpeed 6, so we're doing the MazdaSpeed 6. So if you want to see a car, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, this Sunday, I'm going out to review a car. I'm going to review a car, like driving it and reviewing it and GoPros and all the whole 9 yards. So definitely subscribe if you want to see some car reviews, baby. I'm excited about that. Maybe that can be a new series on the channel. That'd be awesome to review some cars. I'd love to do that. But anyway, MazdaSpeed 6, the good, bad, and ugly. Let's get right into the video. Alright, so the MazdaSpeed 6 was like a one generation only spin-off kind of car that Mazda did, and it was produced between the years 2005 to 2007 only. That's only 2 years, that's not that great. It went by the name MazdaSpeed 6 because it was pretty much the exact same car as the MazdaSpeed 3, which was the performance version of the Mazda 3, which was a family hatchback. Well, this car was the performance version of the Mazda 6, a family sedan. Pretty much the Mazda 6 and the Mazda 3 are the same car. Same way with the MazdaSpeed 3 and the MazdaSpeed 6. For the most part, this car is exactly the same as the Speed 3. It came with the same 2.3 liter turbocharged inline 4 that made the same horsepower as well, 274 horsepower. It's an argument that'll last a lifetime whether the Speed 3 or the Speed 6 is a better car, but they're so similar that it almost doesn't make a difference at all. The Speed 3 is 500 pounds lighter than the Speed 6, so that's obviously an advantage, but the Speed 6 has all-wheel drive, so from a dig, a Speed 6 should have the Speed 3 in the race. So honestly, just go with whatever one that you like more. Now, like I said, the Speed 6 was only available as all-wheel drive, and it was also only available with a manual transmission, which is very cool for Mazda to do. It's a very car guy kind of thing for Mazda to do. Now, in terms of the trim levels, there are none. There are no different trim levels for this car because the Speed 6 is just the performance version of the Speed 3. So the Speed 6 is the trim level, if that makes any sense. Also, it was only available as a sedan. There was no coupes, there was no hatchbacks. If you want a hatchback Speed 6, buy a Speed 3, and there was no convertibles available for this car. It was just a sedan Speed 6, which was technically a trim level to the Mazda 6. I know it's a little confusing, but that's the best way I can explain it. And it was only available for those 2 years with that exact same engine, making the exact same horsepower throughout, which makes these cars actually pretty damn rare, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, that's all the history on the Speed 6. Now let's get into the modifying scene. The modifying scene is mostly like street cars. You don't see a lot of like stanced Mazda Speed 6s, although they are out there. You just don't see them a lot. You also don't really see them a lot built for the drag strip either, but once again, they are out there. The majority of the Mazda Speed 6s are built with like simple bolt-ons, making a very comfortable like 400 horsepower-ish, and they're happy with that, and that makes sense. It's good horsepower for these cars. That isn't to say that you can't build these cars to be like these insane little rocket ships. You can. They have a very good motor to build, and people have done it before, but it really does shine as a street car. It's kind of like the Volkswagen GTI or like a Subaru WRX. It's more built for something that's like a fun daily driver that you can build if you want to, but you don't need to. Obviously, drifting and rally is kind of out of the picture, and I'm sure there are some people who track these cars, but it's not that common either. It's rally, I'm sure happens. Tracking, I'm sure happens, but it's not common at all for these cars. And drifting, I don't think I've ever seen a Mazda Speed 6 drifting. Just want to put that out there. All right, so we are finally into the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the way this works, in case you're new here, is first I'll go over the good, which are things that are just great about the car and you can't deny are good things about it. Then I go over the bad, which are things that are kind of up to you. If you need it or not, then you can make a decision that way. And then I go into the ugly, which are things that are just problems with the car that you're going to have to address. And we're going to start off with the good. Right off the bat, I want to mention the practicality. It's all-wheel drive, so no matter where you live, you can drive this thing freaking year-round, buddy. You don't got to worry at all. Next is the engine. 274 horsepower is absolutely no slouch, but if you get bored of that 274 horsepower, you can easily get more out of it, which is amazing. Next is the aftermarket support for the engine is pretty damn good. Most people, like I said, tend to build these things to be little monsters, and since they share parts with the Mazda Speed 3, there's plenty of companies out there selling stuff to make your Mazda Speed 6 a little bit faster, which is, big thumbs up, seal of approval. Next is the gas mileage is pretty decent for what it is. It has 23 miles per gallon city or 31 miles per gallon highway for an average of 27 miles per gallon, which is pretty damn good for how fun the car is. Yes, it is just a turbo inline 4, but it has 274 horsepower, and getting 27 miles per gallon with 274 horsepower, good job. Good job, Mazda. Next is apparently the Bose sound system in these cars is very good, which is nice. If you're a sound guy, if you like listening to music a lot, then that's obviously a good thing. But yeah, just got to put it there. Next is the cup holders. I love cars when they have cup holders, and this one has some actually pretty decent cup holders. My 350Z doesn't have a cup holder in it, and it sucks. This one has some pretty nice cup holders. If you got yourself a Baja Blast, slap that puppy in the cup holders, you're chilling. You don't got to worry about it spilling all over the place. I love that. Next is the car only came in a manual transmission, so you know that if you're going to buy one, you will have fun no matter what, and that every time you see a MazdaSpeed 6, only the person driving it is 110% going to be a car guy, which is cool, because you know you can go up to that guy and talk to him, and you know he's going to have something to say about cars. It's awesome. And finally, for the good is how reliable it is. For a turbocharged sports car that came out back in 2005, this thing will just not break, and I like that, except for one thing, but we'll get into that later. Now let's get into the bad, which are things, like I said, that are take it or leave it. They're up to you if you don't like them or not. And right off the bat is the sound. I always let you guys decide on whether or not you like the sound, so here's a clip on the MazdaSpeed 6. Next is the unique factor of it. Not a lot of people modify these cars, and even less know about them, so people will ask questions. You gotta love that, man. It's like you got a different car and people are always going to constantly want to talk to you about it, which is awesome. Next is the aftermarket support for the cosmetics isn't all there. Like I said before, most people modify the engine on these cars and they don't really care about the outside, and that means that companies don't think that they need to make parts for the outside, and so there really isn't like huge wide body kits or 10 different side skirts that you can choose from for these cars. Next is the car has uneven tire wear in the front, which is kind of weird, but I'm sure it can be fixed. Next is the space in it isn't as nice as the Speed 3, obviously, because it's not a hatchback. Next is the rear axle tends to break in the 2006 Speed 6s, which is definitely a problem, but not something that's going to ruin your car, so I didn't think it was an ugly, because if it breaks, it breaks, you have to replace it. It's not going to destroy your whole car, though. Next is the price. Since they are so rare, these cars are not very cheap for when they were built. It's hard to find them for under $10,000, and in my opinion, that's not very worth it for what's out there now. You can find a Focus ST for under 10 grand for right around the same price, actually, as you can find a Speed 6, and in my opinion, the Focus ST would probably be a better option. Next is the looks. In my opinion, they look very similar to the base model Mazda 6s, but some people love the looks, so that's completely up to you. Next is the timing chain likes to stretch like crazy on these cars, but just keep an eye on it and you'll be fine, all right? Now you know, if you go to buy a MazdaSpeed 6, you know the timing chain likes to snap, so make sure to keep your damn eye on that timing chain. Now let's get into the ugly, which are things that are just bad about the car, and you're going to have to address them, but there's only two, so that's good. First off is the turbo seals. They leak. They leak a lot. This is a problem with the MazdaSpeed 3 as well, and I'm sure there's a fix for it by now, but the fact that this problem is still there and you have to watch out for it is something to definitely be wary of. If your turbos blow, it has potential to blow your motor too, so that's a major problem. Watch your damn turbo seals, MazdaSpeed boys. And the final thing for the ugly, like I said, there's only two, is the engine sometimes has a very loud ticking noise, which can be a very major problem if not acknowledged right away. But to me, both of these problems seem like they can be avoided by checking on your car more and doing routine maintenance. I can't stress that enough. If you're going to buy a damn sports car, know what the hell you're doing, okay? Look into your car before you buy it and do the maintenance that you need to do. So, in conclusion, do I think that you should buy a MazdaSpeed 6? Well, it depends if you're somebody who loves cars like the Focus RS, the Golf R, or the Subaru STI. If you love cars like that, then yes, these cars are a very good choice. They are pretty much a cheaper, older version of one of those cars, and still to this day, they have more power than some of them. Cough, cough, Subaru WRX. What are you guys doing over there? It was ahead of its time for that market, and it holds up today, and I love that. But if you like drifting or something that you can wide body and turn into some insane show car that's going to get you all the TikTok likes, then it might not be the best idea for you. They do make good dailies. The only problem is if a part breaks, it's going to be expensive to replace since they're so rare. There's not a lot of MazdaSpeed 6s out there, so if something breaks, there's not a lot of parts being built for them. But overall, I think the car is a very good choice for a fun daily driver, especially considering the competition is so lackluster in 2022. There really isn't that much of a big, you know, competition for these kinds of cars, and all the ones that are within their ballpark are way out of price. So I think it is a good idea, but if you like, you know, drifting and stuff, maybe stay away from it. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the end of today's good, bad, and ugly on the MazdaSpeed 6. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more MazdaSpeed 6 content. No, there's no MazdaSpeed. I don't know why I said that. For more of the good, bad, and ugly content. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know another car that you'd like to see down in the comments below. I'm also super excited to do these like car reviews before. I was already thinking of names. I'm going to call it Rodin's Reviews, because that's fire. Rodin's Reviews. I'm gonna review cars. I'm not gonna tell you what the car is going to be yet, but some guy texted me and was like, hey, I'd like you to review my car. I live up in Massachusetts. I was like, perfect. So we're gonna review that car. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. If that happens and like I like that and you guys like that, we could do it with even more cars. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a freaking blast, man. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Das Vidania. Have a nice night.